Ladies and gents, welcome back to another Engineers podcast. Today we're joined by Rokas, who's one of the engineering leads at Cast AI. Cast AI are a pretty awesome business and number one player in solving the conundrum of cloud cost optimization. Born in 2019, they've had some phenomenal series rounds of funding, which we're going to talk about. We're going to be talking about the growth of the business, both from a sheer volume and scale perspective, but really talking about some of the growing pains with a fast growing technology business. And we're going to be talking about some of the engineering challenges and what they've learned along the way. And it's an engineers podcast, so we're going to be talking about everything else in between that. So, Rokas, how's it going?
Great, Elliot. Thanks for having me here.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. You look the part for it. Like I said offline,
Yeah.
You look the part for it.
Yeah, thanks.
Pleasure. Give us a bit of a background into you, Rokas, the engineering lead. Tell us about you and your background.
Yeah, I'd say, long story short, I've always been with engineers mindset from my childhood to up right now. And my teenage years started the electronics engineering and then went to IT at some point. And I'm here 15 years in this space, but somehow I've always been, was it by chance or just by my natural likelihood to work with infrastructure closer to the hardware? I always been closer to this space and was lucky enough to get involved in research and development teams and more bigger corporations like NASDAQ, Barclays before that. And at some point, I thought that I want new challenge and I want to see how these big companies or startups, how we are made, how we are built. So not only see the engineering part of side of, okay, how do you do it from scratch, from a blank sheet of paper, but also how do you connect all the different departments and functions to actually enable the business, enable the building the product. And last 5 years with Cast AI, we are amazing, and I learned so much here. So yeah, we're gonna talk a bit about it today, I guess.
Oh yes, we are. Oh yes, we are. Perfect, Q. Tell us about Cast AI and the phenomenal business that you guys are.
If I would recall and reflect all 5 years, it wasn't that we just on first day running, we knew this is the thing we want to solve. Yes, we had a rough idea. Let's go to infrastructure. Cloud bills are too big. Our team of founders, it's not their first startup that we're having, and we had big business problems when scaling and being able to manage cloud costs. So, okay, we decided to investigate that part, but we pivoted a few other ideas until we found what we're doing right now. And as you mentioned, that we are focusing on cloud cost optimization, but I'd say this is just the aftermath of the first thing, which is automation. And there are tons of cloud optimization companies. If you would look 10 years back, there's consultancy firms and various startups which gives you insights, like you can do A or B to reduce the cloud cost. But here in Cast AI, we are focusing not only showing you that, but the most important thing is automating and bridging the gap that you wouldn't need to do anything to get to that lower bill. So, and you can apply it, into many different parts of infrastructure, of resources you use, like from simple compute that we started to GPUs and AI wave that industry is riding on right now, and we are not sure where it will lead us, right?
I know. And that's the thing. That's why I was particularly interested. Infrastructure scale, because of AI, because of cloud, has gone pretty bonkers over the last 12 months. I think there's a stat here: data ingestion each 15 seconds from thousands of Kubernetes clusters running hundreds of thousands of nodes containing millions of CPUs. It's incredible data throughput that you're seeing traveling through some of what you guys and girls have built. It would be great to understand what are some of the engineering challenges that you guys and girls see at Cast AI on a day-to-day basis. Then we can talk a little bit about just creating the right culture inside the business to be able to deal with that scale.
Okay. You like mentioned few key things in last few seconds and sentences. First of all, scale is large, and it's large today. If I reflect like a few years back, it looked large at that moment, and I cannot imagine what it will look like a few years down the line. And as we scale, there's different challenges popping up. But as you mentioned about the culture, all these challenges that we're solving and the goal that we are aiming for is not to create some kind of exciting engineering system and look at the Grafana dashboards. It's actually to solve real business problems that other companies are facing. And that's the primary goal. If you want to be a successful business, successful company, and you want to you want people to use your services, use your products, you need to create value for them. And all that scale and infrastructure is just the means how to get there, how to solve the problem that others are having. And I'd say it's the biggest lesson that I've learned in the last 5 years is this customer-centric approach and solving, as I mentioned, solving their problems. And it's not only about people who are in front of a customer, like customer support or through the sales cycles or post-sales, but it's very important to have this mindset in every engineer's head. Like a simple example, like you can be developing a feature which you got like a request or Jira task, anything. And if you just take it bluntly and follow line by line and not try to get into the customer's shoes how we will be using it, many mistakes can happen. But what we try to build is that every engineer would think, okay, how is going to be used and why does this make sense? And if not, we built ways that every engineer can go directly to the customer and speak with him. We do not have ticketing systems and etc. We build, I'd say, kind of novel way of interacting with customers. That's, from their point of view, it's just Slack channel. What we do, after they write us, questions, it doesn't matter. But it's like natural conversation. What's working, what's not.
Interesting.
Um,
Talk to us about that approach, and talk to us a little bit about maybe more, let's say, cultural tendencies that you've got in the business that really adopt this customer first mindset. I see it so often now, and I'm sure there's a lot of people in the industry that would say this has really been a mindset that's been around for 10, 20 years, but customer engineer, product engineer is probably the more common phrase that I'm seeing now. And organizational structures are being built around the product engineer, but it'd be really good to understand some more cultural tendencies that ensure you as a team are really laser focused on that customer centric approach. So I
Mhm.
know there's more in there.
Like there's quite a helper for us in a way that our product is very technical. Our product is built for engineers by engineers, right? And it's our customer, day-to-day customer, is a DevOps or an engineer or someone who works with and organizes its own infrastructure. And the culture we've built, that we do like we didn't segregate the duties between inside engineering. We do not have DevOps, we do not have QA, we do not have architects. We only have engineers. And what it means that we are in the shoes of like DevOps person. We are dogfooding our product from day one. Uh, we call our backend the mothership. There's kind of inception. Our mothership is optimizing itself. uh, so, and I guess these circumstances allow our engineers to feel how the product works, to try it out, and it gives insights and ideas what to build next. Um, and really believe that um, you need to give ownership to every engineer, and there should be like quite a open environment, in a sense that you could think, okay, what should we do? It's not that, not the hierarchical structure. So I call it headless teams. Like, and I really hate when people call me a manager or lead or anything like that. I'm just a regular guy in a team and doing non-interesting things that engineers could focus on what we love most. But what that enables and creates, that every person in a team, feels free to make their own decisions. It's enough to have two smart people to discuss and make a decision and move fast forward. You don't need approval from management for anything. But if you don't agree what's the right approach, or you feel that it's not only your team that will be impacted and you're not sure of a scope, then you involve more people.
Yeah, definitely. I remember talking offline, you and I put a focus on you build it, you run it mentality. And there was a particular focus on the autonomy and ownership that people have inside of Cast to be able to do that. The emphasis is really there. And you touched on something there that maybe a personal low ego trait there, but everyone's a builder. And I think that's really important as well in an organization, especially building or engineers building for engineers, having that builder's mindset is really important.
Like, I can compare to how I felt like in big corp and how does it feel here. Like when you are very far away from the business, from the customers and you just do this task, and this is the expected day when it should be delivered. So you don't feel that you closed the cycle. You don't feel in the loop. You're just that small cog in a big machine. And here I'm quite proud that every engineer, they are not only coding the solution, architecting, but also once they write end-to-end tests and code gets shipped into production, and that usually takes around 30-ish minutes after it's merged in our code base, they can instantly see the impact. They are in direct communication with customers in certain situations. So you can really see the impact your work, your input, what value you're creating. And
Love
that's very powerful. And then you feel that I'm making an impact and I'm driving this thing forward instead of I'm just executing what I'm being told to.
You put a notion on creating a good foundation for success. And we touched on some particular areas around tooling, observability, incident management, and really having the right infrastructure, if you like, set up to enable that success. Can you talk to us a little bit about those three areas, tooling, observability, and incident management, and how that actually looks like at Cast?
Hmm? I kind of remember our first months, and actually our CTO, Leon Cooperman, he set this tone and was very conscious about giving engineering the freedom to set this foundation. From business side, we're always waiting. Oh, when we'll have a product, right? When we'll be able to sell it. But for first half a year, majority of the things that we are doing, we're building, as you said, observability stack. So we have logs, traces, metrics, the three pillars of observability. Integrating that with alerting system, also automating CI/CD pipeline. As I mentioned, we do not have DevOps people who their single responsibility would be to take the code and ship it to production. 5 years ago, even this fully autonomous CI/CD wasn't that popular in the industry. Now it's getting there, but back in the day, it was really cutting edge. That you merge the code in your Git repo, and 50 minutes later, it's running in production, but the full quality assurance pipeline, making sure there is no regressions, etc. And this really enables to move fast. And right now we are making around 50 releases into production. Some people would think, oh, so many changes, you'll break so many things. Actually, the more changes you do, the better processes is to handle it. And those changes are small. They're easily rollbackable. We are not doing big bang releases like we are shipping hundreds of features at once. Then it's very hard to organize and the impact. And here you identify there's a drift of metrics in the wrong direction. And one of the most important operational rules, always roll back. When developing features, we are always thinking if things go wrong, how this will be rolled back.
Okay.
And then you can mitigate the impact of incident in 5-10 minutes. And the customers, are not feeling that much. And as mentioned, incident management is as equally important. I've actually one of our new engineers said that before Cast AI, I thought postmortem meetings are boring. And here it's fun. Like there's no blame. Like why was this done? And why did you think about this before doing? No. Everything is framed around idea. What can we do for this to never happen again? And it's
Love
not
that.
boiling the ocean, re-architecturing tasks, which would take half a year, but no, very tangible, pragmatic changes. Um, and if you do that with every issue you have, eventually you'll, have a safety mechanisms to prevent that.
We're going to talk about growing the business here, and I think this is a really interesting point that's just come to my mind. How do you build a safe failure environment in seemingly a fairly high risk business?
Yeah, as you mentioned, like our customers depend on us to have infrastructure running. If we are not working, their business is not working. It's not like some uh, tool that enables you some development features, but it's really impactful. So that's why we, as I mentioned before, roll back, do some A/B testing before, if you're understand what impact your change might have. And this ownership of engineers is very important as well. Like sometimes you release a feature and you don't have a metric if it built in that actually it would indicate that it fails. But we have a culture that people tend to care about the work, the output they do, and after releasing something larger and which we uh, care about, we look at certain aspects, how it's working, validating once more, and then going to the next big thing. But how to create this safe environment, as you said, I strongly believe if a human makes a mistake, uh, it's unless it's we're not talking about reckless things, but just you haven't thought about some corner case. It's more of a problem of a system that it doesn't catch that than problem of individual. Like, and if you're creating and building systems around with good testing, good end-to-end tests and validation, peer reviews, you with each this step you mitigate the risk of high impact. And yeah, we have postmortems, but uh, we focus on, as I said, uh, pragmatic and tangible fixes that especially this specific reason wouldn't happen again. And the most important thing is not just to talk about it, but follow up with what you decided to improve. There are many organizations that, oh, we did this bad thing. Yeah, we will need to change this and that. And after a week, we'll back to burning business priorities. And these post-mortem items just rot and are not finished. So one small practical advice, like how we do in some teams. Every team, of course, decides their own ways of working to some extent. But let's say you have a sprint of 2 weeks on a work you want to, on a delivery you want to do. So we just organize our Jira board. Let's always start from post-mortem tickets, from tech debt, and just then the business priorities. And by having that, then you are not in survival mode and being able to keep up with ever increasing scale.
Makes sense. Talk to us a little bit about the growth of the business then, because you've obviously seen phenomenal growth and you've got some incredible customers. I really want to learn a little bit about that growth from a handful of people to over 200 people now. Talk to us about that experience itself.
Okay. We really talked a lot about the being customer centric, and that's one of a side that throughout all these years we would exercise day in, day out. I won't repeat myself there. Maybe a more interesting insights would be as our product grows, complexity grows, and we right now have dozens of teams. When I've started, like we were 3 people in the room. So yeah, I sometimes need to pinch myself and realize how lucky I am to have experienced all this. And each year was very different. Like in few weeks, it will be 5 years that I'm here. And each year had its own challenges, both technical and organizational. Um, so in the beginning, the product and it's quite raw. It's solving some problems, but you're getting a lot of feedback that lots of things are not working. Then you have this mindset like we'll go through all this feedback that customers are giving us back, and there will be a finite number of that. And later on, the business will pick up, and every sales cycle wouldn't have new blockers and product team needing to address them, but it will be closed without any friction. And yes, we got to that. But once you start creating new teams, new branches of product, it goes more complex and complex. The product gets more sophisticated, and you need to start managing how to not slow down, how to scale the organization, how to hire new people to be able to continue this growth. Because like at the beginning, yeah, it was few customers. Like we didn't have customer support team. Every engineer was customer support. Our CTO and the VP of engineering were the mostly active ones. And I'll drift a bit, but I really remember the positive culture our CTO was creating. Like our engineering is in Europe, but if a customer in the US would have a late evening issue, he wouldn't go to a dinner table with his family. He would go solving those issues because he doesn't want to wake up engineers in Europe that we would have a good day tomorrow and would be able to solve this fully. So, and it shows the example, how from the top of the leadership, this customer centric and caring about people inside the company is there.
Yeah,
Um,
so key.
and then going to how we are expanding the teams. Like I heard many bad stories and examples how small companies gain traction and now we need to do more and we do not have enough people. So I consider a bad practice that you create a new team from people who you just hired.
Yeah.
Uh,
Interesting.
how we do that is if you think there's a need for a new team or we want to do a new moonshot, as we call it right now, it's always bootstrapped from people who are already in a company,
Yeah.
who are in line and know what's our company culture, what works. So that's rule number one. Another rule is that we do never, or I won't say never, but we try to not hire more person, uh, more than one person per month into a single engineering team. So actually, we didn't have layoffs as many companies had. We are always quite pragmatic with how much we hire, and we were quite slow on how fast we are expanding. So this allowed us to maintain this culture and not dilute it. And that's very important. Getting to 20, 30, 50 employees is one thing. Once you get to 200, then you start not knowing the names of everyone. It's very easy to lose the leash, and it's downhill afterwards.
I love rule number one. And as you guys coin it, moonshot. I think that's a really important rule. Have people build something who know your business. And you've touched on it a couple of times. Have the right systems in place that reflect your culture of doing things. I think that's a really important rule. And, being deliberate with your growth as well and growing the business in the right way. I think that is really critical. I think a lot of people lost control over the last 12, 24 months. We're October 2024. I think a lot of companies have lost control and lost sight maybe of what it is they're doing, what it is they're building. But you guys and girls kept that. Love that.
And that's why we had this sort of economic downturn, right? Venture capitalists, the market was investing based on promises, and after COVID, there were large influx of, let's call it, free money, and it was rapid growth that wasn't backed up by deliveries, and now things are getting back into the right path, and I'm happy that we were on it throughout this period.
Yeah, definitely. Things are getting back onto the right path. I agree. I think it's taken a bit of time. It's been a bit of a reshift, but it looks like we're there. I know that a lot of the things that you're working on are not public at the moment, but I'm keen to understand where you'll be continuing to grow the business. There's been a couple of notes around security and AI, but help us understand, for what you can share, the direction in which Cast are going.
It's, as I mentioned at the start of our conversation, automation and infrastructure. And it's not only about cost optimization, but if you go into infrastructure, cloud, resources, there's many ways. Like usually it's companies start doing something, they've built what works, and we leave it as it is. And if business is growing, nobody is focusing on efficiency until it's too complex to handle. And general direction where we are going is to explore the possibilities and these pain points in the industry on different categories of cloud infrastructure, maybe on-prem in future, but right now it's more on cloud-related things and compute GPUs, and as we talked. AI is on a wave, and it's this time it's creating some value out of it. Maybe it will pick up better than blockchain. uh, yeah, but blockchain is also starting to get its real use cases. Um, Databases, like that's the second largest uh, row in most of people's cloud bills. So, uh, and there are few more ideas, and what we are calling these moonshots is we're trying to build function capabilities which aren't even available in a cloud, or our customers are not thinking that this is at all possible. But we're trying to explore what's technically possible to enable these uh, cost optimization, automation, security related topics when it comes to infrastructure. Um, Also, it's not only about like computer now; it's also about workloads, like uh, what people are running in their infrastructure. So we are delving deeper into that, and because like understanding what are the real needs of applications, and it would be very simple if your infrastructure would run flat on the same range of RPM, let's say, but it's always in waves. And depending on a business, the patterns will be different. And it's really hard to automate that really well. You need a startup for that, which we are. uh, and one thing is and there are a couple of layers. Like the first is the infrastructure, network, all these things. Then there's application layer. There's additional complexity, like on how much actually my workloads need, right? How much resources do they need? How often do they fluctuate? What capabilities of machines actually do I need to run? Um, and if I would dream a bit, there's even deeper layers, not application layer, but business layer, right? Uh, what what business metrics are important and how my application layer contributes to reaching that. So if you start to collect all this visibility and how uh, applications are ran through all the layers, you can start building interesting things with it and find solutions which humans don't come up, because uh, we are not able to have as much data throughput as like machine learning, right? If you can find very interesting findings there, and I'd tell you a few examples of freakonomics we found in the early days. So our engine is able to pick the best machine that makes sense at this moment in the cloud. And there's spot market. Imagine it as a market of instances where prices fluctuate based on demand. And there are occurrences where the most expensive machine on paper is the cheapest in reality, because
Interesting.
nobody's using it.
Okay. Interesting.
And our system is able to detect those pricing freakonomics, and you suddenly see that the machine that you're running your workload has a GPU and expensive storage, but you're not even using it, and you're paying just a small fraction of price.
Interesting. Okay. I never really thought of it like that. I think I take from, and really it comes down to what I feel is the business's DNA, not just having or evolving your product market fit and being very customer centric, moving from optimization into automation, now looking at a number of different product lines, whether it be AI, security, GPUs. Really, it's going where customer demand is going, and you're being dragged along with that mindset, which I think is a real smart play. You have to be flexible and agile in that. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens over the next 12 months with you guys and girls.
Yeah, we have quite a few interesting announcements uh, to be made in near future. So yeah, and what you mentioned on like product market fit, majority of startups find it and focus on it. But uh, when you start, it's a blue ocean. When people start to see that this works, at at some point it becomes a red ocean where there's so much competition and you just go outdated or work on a really really fine margins like uh, flight industry, right? uh, it would be a good example on that. And if you um, you want to get ahead of competition, you need to find those blue oceans. You need to find those new capabilities which no one has. And right now, I would say that in this Kubernetes cost optimization automation space, we do not have competition technically. Yes, we have competitors like Carpenter and few others, which has some portion of the capabilities we have. But if you see the full spectrum of what we can give to our customers, there's no competition, and and that's what you need to maintain and invest. I'd say around 50% of our engineering is working not on how to maintain the product market fit, but how to expand and look upon what's on the horizon.
Love that. Let's focus on that then next. So, talk to us a little bit about what you're looking to hire into the business and locations for people listening who naturally will be really interested in what you guys and girls are building and where you're going. Tell us a little bit about what you're looking to do when expanding the business, as in the types of people you're looking for and locations.
So locations we are currently like, and for all, and I'm not see that changing, is Europe based. That's where our engineering is uh, distributed. That's how the best word would be to tell that. Um, so we have from people from Canary Islands to Ukraine and everything in between. Um, it's a fully remote environment, but we really believe in face-to-face communication. So around 3 times a year we do team gatherings. This summer we did a hackathon. That
Nice.
that was awesome actually. Um, and it touches upon the innovation and moving the needle forward and finding these new moonshots. So I'll expand a bit on it. So we 3-4 months in advance we announced that this will happen. The whole engineering will come in Lithuania, where I'm based, and our headquarters of Europe. So and shoot for ideas. What you would like to build, crazy things or iterations that would move a needle forward. And during that week, people would form teams from actual different delivery teams, so there would be better funding and so on. And then we would, after a few days, we would have presentations, demos, and pick the winner, have prizes, and so on. Um, so there was a clear incentive of what you can win, but I guess the bigger incentive will be once these ideas and features go live into our product. In these OKRs, we already have these hackathon ideas being built into the roadmap and coming into the product. And this
That's
was just
incredible.
engineers' ideas on what we could do.
That's incredible. So there's an opportunity to have some real impact here. So I think you can hear that loud and clear from Rokas. Opportunity for some real impact, hiring across Europe. That's where they're headquartered from an engineering perspective. So from Canary Islands all the way through to Ukraine, if you're a product engineer or if you're managing product engineers and you've managed in an environment like that, I think you should be reaching out to the guys and girls at Cast AI and Rokas and filling up his DMs.
Yeah, actually, I guess we never stopped hiring throughout this time, but we do it slowly but surely, and we don't want to dilute and maintain. And one thing maybe to mention, which is very important, we primarily focus on senior engineers. Early in the start of a company, we decided with senior engineers are more expensive, but the multiplier they create is much bigger than having few less experienced ones. Yes, from time to time we hire regular engineers, but we maintain this bar high, and it works, and we are not planning to change that. We never hired to staff engineers or hire, but we have plenty of them.
Yeah.
People
And
need.
you've developed your own.
We promote based on merit. Like, you need to show that you're capable of it. You really have a motivation and the drive to do it. And sometimes people say that, oh, your salaries are lowish, mid-range. But if I compare what's down the line when people work here, it's not that. It's just first you come in, you prove what you can do, you show that you create value for the organization, and every half a year we review that and uh, adjust to actual performance of different teams, different engineers. It's very hard process, but we are keeping honest to it.
No, good. I've loved chatting with you over the last give or take 50 minutes. You've been incredible. I've enjoyed learning a lot more about Cast AI and where you're going and how you've built the business to where you are in 5 years, give or take. And it's a phenomenal achievement. So I'm sure we're going to see you in different product lines. I want to say a massive thanks to you for coming to share your wisdom, come to share your experience and what you've built so far. So a massive thanks, Rokas.
Yep, no worries. It was a joyful sharing experience. We focused mostly on culture, business, product development. We could spend the same amount of time focusing only pure on technical challenges, scaling challenges, and so on. So it's a really awesome environment to be in and being challenged in different
Well,
aspects.
when the moonshots are on the moon, we'll be talking about those.
Okay.
We'll talk about those engineering challenges. From us at Engineers, thanks for watching. Likes, shares, subscribes is what keeps this buzzing little ecosystem going around. So please do that. Please go and check out the guys and girls at Cast AI, see what they're up to, and doubling down on filling up Rokas's DMs and picking his brains, or seeing how you can get involved with the team. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching this episode. Massively appreciate you listening and checking in with us. If you want to find out more about us and what we're doing, please check us out on social media. What we're trying to do at Engineers is build a community to drive knowledge sharing and experiences. On Twitter, we can be found Engineers.io. It's no_. We've also got a website, which is engineers.io. These links will all be posted in the description. Any feedback and comments are massively appreciated. We're always looking to improve on where we can. Thanks, guys.